Hi everyone, my name is Becky Price and I am one of the 3 regional sales managers with Allison's Pantry. Welcome to our webinar this month. We have chosen to highlight recipes submitted by you, our wonderful sales reps and customers, using our 6519 Pilgrim's boneless skinless chicken breasts. These come in a case of 3 bags. Each bag has a minimum of 16 chicken breasts in it. These are great product. They are uniform size and so easy to use in so many different ways. So we took the recipes that you have submitted to us, and each of us did 2 to 3 recipes. Now, my 3 recipes I chose, I'm going to fix for you, and my family is going to be the judge of whose recipe they liked the best, and that will be the winner from my group of recipe choices. So let's get started. Okay, the first recipe I chose to feature today on our webinar is slow cooker chicken burritos. This recipe was submitted by Glenda Burton. So this is going to use 4 of our boneless skinless chicken breasts, and I've thawed those out, and I'm going to be putting them in my crock pot, which I've lined with our wonderful crock pot liners. They make cleanup so easy that you just won't know what you did without them. They're so wonderful. So we'll put our 4 chicken breasts in. There we go. Then we're going to add 1 cup of rice. Now I'm using brown rice today, but if you wanted to use our quinoa, you could also use that. Then I'm going to add 1 can of diced tomatoes with the juice. Then the recipe called for 1 can of chicken broth, so I did up about 2 cups of our chicken broth using our custom chicken base, the real meat chicken base. We'll pour that in. There we go. Then we're gonna add some seasonings. So we've got sea salt. We've got a wonderful new sea salt. This is 2 teaspoons of sea salt. Number 1146, we have a Regal Spice fine sea salt that we now sell. Then our cumin, this will be 1 teaspoon of cumin powder and 2 teaspoons of our chili powder. And then we're going to cover that and cook it on low for 3 to 4 hours, and I'll check it occasionally to make sure there's still plenty of liquid in there to cook the chicken and the rice. Okay, the chicken and rice has cooked, and I've taken each chicken breast out and shredded it. So now we're ready to add the 2 final ingredients, which is a can of black beans, and you can either do a cup of frozen corn, or I just did a can of regular corn. We'll mix this up and continue to heat it for until the rice is completely cooked, which at this point it's looking pretty good. So we'll heat the whole mixture up, and we'll be ready to make our chicken burritos. And the slow cooker chicken burrito is done. I have put it on one of our 10-inch flour tortillas, number 1296, and topped it with my favorite toppings of shredded cheese, lettuce, sour cream, and salsa. I can't wait to try it. It smells fabulous. The next recipe I'm going to show you today is called Jalapeno Popper Chicken. This was submitted by Melanie Bourne. Now she says this is a great recipe for those who are looking for a low-carb dinner. So we're going to take 6 of our boneless skinless chicken breasts that have been thawed, and we're going to put them into a 9x13 pan, and we're going to cook them at 400 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes until the juices run clear. While the chicken is cooking, we are going to make the topping. So I took 1 bag of pork rinds and crushed them up with my rolling pin. So that's what we have in our bowl right here. And to this, we're going to add 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, shredded, and 4 tablespoons of butter melted. And we'll mix that up and set it aside. Once that topping mixture is mixed up, then I took 1 pound of our Big Buy bulk bacon and I cut it into squares and I cooked it up in a pan, and then I set it aside, and I took 1/4 cup of our frozen chopped up diced onions and I cooked it up in the bacon grease until it was soft. And now I've taken my pan off the burner and I'm going to add the bacon back in. Then we're also going to add 1/4 cup of diced jalapenos. Now, if you don't want hot jalapenos, you could do like green chilies. Okay, so we've got that in there. Then we're going to take 8 ounces of cream cheese softened. Okay. We're going to take 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. And we're going to take 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese and mix that all up. Our chicken has cooked until the juices run clear. So now we're going to reduce our oven temperature to 350 degrees. And we'll take our chicken, and this is our popper recipe that has the bacon in it. So we're going to take that and we're going to spread it over the top of each chicken breast. Ooh, this looks wonderful. I can't wait to try this. There we go. All right, and then once we've spread the popper topping over the tops of the chicken, then we're going to put the topping mix with the crushed pork rinds and sprinkle that over the top. I have never had a recipe like this. I'm so excited to try this. Okay, there we go. All over the top of our chicken, and now we'll bake it for about 15 minutes until the tops get brown. Here it is, the finished product, Jalapeno Popper Chicken by Melanie Bourne. And I have put a side dish of our delicious Riviera blend with green beans, wax beans, and baby carrots. This next chicken recipe was submitted by Lisa Brugger, and it's called Creamy Swiss Chicken Bake. So you're going to take a 9 by 13 pan, and you're going to spray it with Vaseline. Get it nice and greased. There we go. I love Vaseline. Then we're going to take, and it's up to you, it says 4 to 6 chicken breasts that you have patted dry. So because I have 5 in my family, I'm going to go ahead and do 6. We'll lay those in our pan. Then it says to top it with 6 to 8 slices of Swiss cheese. There we go. Now, we have a mixture to make. So we're going to take 1/2 cup of sour cream, which I have in here, 1/2 cup of mayonnaise, and 1/2 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. And then to that, we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I've used our sea salt, 1/2 teaspoon of ground pepper, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. So we'll dump that in and mix it all up. Okay, so our mixture is ready. So now we're going to spread it onto the top of the chicken and cheese. Once that's done, we will sprinkle it with about 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, and then it'll be ready to bake in an oven for 1 hour at 375 degrees. This is the Creamy Swiss Chicken Bake, and it has a side of jasmine rice sprinkled with parsleys. Doesn't that look wonderful? There are the 3 recipes I chose to highlight tonight. So now we're going to go to our judges, because I have to tell you, they all tasted wonderful. So I went to my family. I have 4 members of my family here with me tonight, and they are going to rate these dishes based on their own personal tastes and how great they thought these dishes were. My rating system, a 1 means it was okay, a 2 means it was good, 3, it was an excellent dish, and 4, superior, the very best. So let's see what our judges rated these dishes tonight. Will it be the slow cooker chicken burritos, the jalapeno popper chicken, or the creamy Swiss chicken bake? The judges' rating for slow cooker chicken burrito is 4, 4, 3, 4. The judges' decision on the jalapeno popper chicken is 3, 3, 2, 4. And the judges' decision on the creamy Swiss chicken bake is 3, 2, 4, 4. Okay, we now have tallied our judges' scores, and the winner of tonight's recipe competition for this part of our webinar is Slow Cooker Chicken Burrito with 15 points. This recipe was submitted by Glenda Burton. Glenda, congratulations. Your wonderful recipe, Slow Cooker Chicken Burritos, was our winner.
Hi everyone. I'm excited today to share with you 3 different recipes from our representatives that have sent them in for us to do our great chicken cook-off. We're going to feature today the chicken that's the Pilgrim's Boneless Skinless Chicken Breast Chicken. It's number 6519. It's on sale this month. If you haven't tried this chicken, you're in for a treat. It comes frozen, and I believe you get 4 different bags in the case. I can't remember, I opened my box and I think there was 4. But you get 48 breasts in there, and you'll be able to see them when I start cutting them up, but they are beautiful breasts, no fat, nice and flat, even, so they cook very evenly. You'll love them. They're the best chicken ever. The first recipe I'm going to feature is one from Frankie Fisher, and it is an Italian crockpot chicken. It's pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the crockpot. I've actually cut this in half because it's only my husband and I here trying it out, so I didn't want a whole bunch of chicken cooked for this evening. So you will want to double this when you get it, or actually you'll just want to do the recipe as it is. I've gone ahead and cut it in half. So first of all, it does call for 7 to 10 strips of chicken. Now, like I said, we're using the chicken breasts. And if you can see these chicken breasts, they're kind of slick. They are just beautiful, just no fat at all. I have not had to trim them or anything. You'll just go ahead and cut those up into diced pieces as big as you want to try. Now, let me just tell you before I started, the way I thawed my chicken out for my recipes, and you can do it either way. I don't really like to use the microwave because it sometimes cooks the edges if you don't watch it really close. So I just put them on my cookie sheet and let them sit out. They've been out about an hour or so, just sitting here on my bar, and I'm going to go ahead and get them. Some of them are a little frozen inside, but that's okay because we're going to just cook them right through. So I'll go ahead and just start cutting this chicken. You can see that it cuts pretty simply, even when it's slightly frozen, that's because they're so even nice chicken breasts. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut them in dices. You could keep them in strips, I'm sure. Now Frankie serves this over rice. You could do rice or noodles. It is very simple. Has cream cheese in it, so not as low fat maybe as some of you would like, but you have to live once in a while. So okay, we'll go ahead and get that chicken. And this is so easy because it's a great dinner that you can put in if you want to run down at lunch and throw something in the crock pot and then it's ready for dinner. Now I'm sure you could probably use your Instapot if some of you have those. I didn't convert it to an Instapot because I'm just doing the crock pot right now. But we'll go ahead and put the chicken in there. This is going to cook 4 hours on high. And then the next things that this recipe calls for, like I said, it's very simple. 1 can of cream of chicken soup. Whatever choice you have is fine, I'm sure. So we'll go ahead and put that in our crock pot. Move my crock pot over here. I haven't plugged it in yet, so. Okay, after you've got your cream of chicken soup in, you're gonna go ahead and put in, it calls for a package of cream cheese. Now I told you I cut this in half, so I'm just gonna put in it's 3 ounces, half of a cream cheese into my crock pot. And then it also calls for 5 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. That's number 1698. I'm gonna go ahead and put in 3 tablespoons because I cut it down, remember? And then 1 cup of milk. And I went ahead and put in the cup of milk because I put in the whole can of soup. So we'll go ahead and put that on. It's gonna cook 4 hours on high, and then I'll show it to you when we get finished. Okay, for our next recipe, we're going to do Parmesan chicken. This is from Alicia Hughes. She lives in Orangeville. And this one I also cut down for my size of family, but it is for a large family. It uses 8 boneless chicken breasts. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I have 4 boneless chicken breasts. I'm going to go ahead and spray my pan. It's just a baking dish with our Vegeline, so it won't stick. And then this calls for 19 ounces of plain yogurt. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put in about 1.5 cups full. You're going to use this yogurt to dip your chicken in. So I've got the yogurt. It also calls for 2 cups of ground up Ritz crackers. I went ahead and put them in the blender and blended those down so they're pretty fine and crumbly. And then it also calls for 1 teaspoon of garlic salt, 1 teaspoon of seasoning salt, and 1 teaspoon of Parmesan cheese. So those are right on the top there. I'm gonna go ahead and stir those up. Mix them up in your Ritz cracker blend. Now what you're gonna do is put your chicken in the yogurt and then cover it in your cracker blend. Okay, we've got that pretty mixed up. So I'll go ahead and take my first chicken breast. Once again, they're beautiful, you'll love them. Now put it in your yogurt, get it kind of covered in yogurt. And then put it in your cracker mix. Coat both sides of it. And then you're gonna go ahead and just put it in your pan, in your baking dish. And we'll do all 4 of those and then put it in the oven. It is going to bake at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes. I would say 30 minutes or so on these 4 breasts. We'll try it and see. And then once you get them all in your baking dish, you can sprinkle the remaining crackers over the top. Now she serves this alongside rice, like rice-a-roni or seasoned rice. You could take any of our rice products and add a little bit of your chicken broth, the chicken base to it to make it seasoned a little bit of chicken-y taste. And then serve that with some vegetables. Any of our vegetables would do great with that. Okay, I'm almost done. Got almost 4 of them in here. She also likes to serve a vegetable. She likes asparagus alongside, but we have so many wonderful vegetables with Allison's Pantry. That's one of the things that makes us so unique, is because most of those blends you cannot find in the average grocery store. I love our vegetable blends, and they are premium vegetables. Okay, we'll go ahead and sprinkle the remaining crackers over the top. Let it bake for 30 minutes, and then I will show you what we have when it's all finished. Okay, before I go ahead and put this chicken with the Ritz crackers on the top, before I put it in the oven, I forgot to tell you that you want to take some butter, and I took 4 tablespoons of melted butter, and melt it in the microwave. And then just go ahead and drizzle that over your chicken. That's going to give it a really good buttery flavor. Okay, now we'll go ahead and put it in the oven at 350, about 35 to 45 minutes. Okay, for our last recipe today, we're going to do creamy chicken and asparagus pasta. This is a recipe from Danielle Sayer, and it looks wonderful, smells great, so I'm excited to try it. So it calls for a pound of boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and I weighed that out, and that's about 4 breasts. So we're going to go ahead and take these 4 breasts. Now, part of the seasonings that she has for it, it uses quite a few seasonings. So you're going to need a teaspoon of dried basil, a half a teaspoon of dried oregano, a 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme, and then salt and pepper, each a 1/4 teaspoon each. And then I went ahead and just put those in this little cup, a little shaker cup. And what we're going to do is take half of that seasoning. Let me mix it up a little bit better. Half of that seasoning, and we're going to sprinkle it on one side of those breasts. Okay, and then you're going to save the other half for when you put them in the pan. So right now we're going to go ahead and just sear these breasts in a hot pan. I've got my griddle here going, and I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in. Now this also called for a little bit of bacon, and I warmed up the pre-cooked bacon, and so what I did is I went ahead and did that in my pan. So I also have a little bit of bacon grease in there. Thought it might season it up and give it a little more flavor. So you take your chicken and put it the seasoning side down. And then we're going to go ahead and sprinkle the rest of that seasoning on that chicken as it's in the pan. And then you're going to go ahead and cook this chicken. It's going to take about 6 to 8 minutes, depending on how hot you have your griddle. And then I'll take it off the heat and set it on a plate and let it rest for 5 minutes while we make the sauce. I've got the chicken cooked, and I went ahead and sliced it into strips. I'm not sure if I was supposed to do it this way. I was wanting to put it in strips just because I thought it'd be easier to serve with your pasta, and it'll already be in the sauce. So we're gonna go ahead and make the sauce right now. You'll need your skillet, and then you're gonna go ahead and put in 1.5 tablespoons of butter. And you're gonna let that melt. Kind of get it all around your pan, because what we're going to do is make a roux for our cream sauce. And then you're going to go ahead and put in your garlic. So I have garlic and butter in there. Smells wonderful. Okay, next goes 2 tablespoons of flour. As soon as this is all melted, I'll put that in there. And then what you're going to do is whisk that around in your pan. It's going to make like kind of thick paste. Okay, and that's how you make your sauce. This is the beginnings of gravy. So you're going to go ahead and put your flour in there, and you see how it kind of thickens up. Now any liquid I add to this is going to thicken like a cream sauce. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead, slowly pour in my milk. It's 1 3/4 cups of milk. Yo, that is hot. Don't burn yourself, guys. Now it's going to kind of darken a little bit. I'm going to grab my other wooden spoon so it's not quite so noisy for you. Okay, then we're going to let this cook a little bit. You see it gets kind of lumpy. You're going to want to kind of stir that around so the lumps go out. And we're going to add in 1/4 of a cup of half and half. You can use either cream I had half and half already, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use the half and half. Looks great. Now we'll add in the half and half and let that cook a little bit. It's gonna take a few minutes to get those lumps out. You just have to keep blending and blending. This is the term where you heard where you have lumpy gravy. This is why. It's because your roux isn't blended well. So keep blending, stirring, takes a little bit of muscle grease. Once it's starting to boil, it's gonna start thickening, and it is starting to thicken now. Now you can add your cream cheese to this part. It calls for 3 ounces of cream cheese cut into little pieces, and I've diced it up. Gonna go ahead and just put that in there. And this will take a little bit to blend that in now. Okay. Now it also calls for 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Yeah, 1/3 cup, excuse me, of Parmesan cheese. So we'll go ahead and put that in. And it is thickening up very nicely. Now I'm gonna turn my heat down a little bit so it doesn't cook it too quick. Okay, last but not least, you're going to add your asparagus. Now this is 8 ounces of asparagus that I thawed out, and then I actually cooked it in the pan just a little bit in the bacon grease so that it wasn't all raw. So and then you want to cut it into chunks. So I'll go ahead and put this asparagus in. It calls for 4 to 5 pieces of bacon. I use the pre-cooked. And like I told you before, I put that in the pan the very first, so I had that bacon flavor in my chicken. Okay. Turn it down a little bit more. We're cooking pretty fast here. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add my chicken breasts into the strips. And the chicken looks beautiful with the seasoning on it. Oh my gosh, it looks beautiful. Now we'll just make sure we cover it. And then I did cook some pasta beforehand, so if my pasta is cooked, I'm gonna put in 1/2 cup of reserved pasta water, which will help that stick a little bit better to my pasta once I put my pasta in there. Okay, let me grab the pasta. And we are good. Okay, I'll go ahead and put that in. I just did the penne pasta. Didn't want to come out of my colander. Okay. And that is our chicken, bacon, and asparagus. And I'll get it served up, and we will have a vote on which one came out the best. I'll show you all of them after they're all finished here. So, okay, we are all finished. I'm gonna go ahead and put them on the plate, and then I'll have my husband come and try them out, and he'll tell us which one he likes best. But I want you just to see how they turned out. So this is the Parmesan Chicken from Alicia Hughes. Okay, it's just baked in the pan, and I baked it about 30 minutes. So we'll go ahead and put that on a plate. Let's put that one right here. Okay. Next one is the creamy chicken and asparagus pasta. I'll just put a little bit on there. He can try it out. Okay, let me actually put a little bit more in there so you can get a picture of that. There's that one. They are all looking so good. I don't know how he's going to tell which one he likes best. Okay, and then this one is the Italian Crockpot Chicken. So I've got a little rice in the bottom of this bowl. We'll go ahead and just put a little bit over top. And that one was from Frankie Fisher. Okay. Here's that one. This is my cameraman, my husband Ed. He's gonna try them out. No pressure.
No.
Creamy chicken and asparagus with bacon.
Okay.
And
good.
now the Italian crockpot chicken.
They're all good. I have to pick one.
Yeah, one. Pick one.
Okay.
What's your top winner?
Boy, it's between these. It's because I'm probably the only man in the world that's not a big bacon fan.
Exactly.
I think I'm gonna go with this one.
The Italian crockpot chicken. That would be Frankie Fisher. Good job, Frankie.
Yeah.
They're all really good. I had to sneak a taste of all of them. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. I hope you'll go home and try these recipes and try those chicken breasts. They are amazing. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Julie, and I'm excited about the webinar that we are doing today. It's going to be fun to make the recipes that you sent us and try them out. They look delicious, and it'll be fun to see which one my kids like the best. We're going to do a contest and see which one is their favorite. But before I begin, I would like to start by giving you just a few tips about cooking your chicken. First of all, if you need to make your chicken breast into chicken strips, then put it in the freezer for about 45 minutes to an hour. That's going to firm it up, so when you're slicing those chicken strips, it's going to go a lot faster. Or you could just buy already made chicken strips from Allison's Pantry. That's even better. Secondly, if you want to have the perfect, juicy, tender chicken, then you're going to want to cook it to the proper temperature and use a meat thermometer. Because if you undercook it, it's going to be tough. And if you overcook it, it's going to be dry. So when you're tasting your chicken and it's like, oh, this is really dry, then you know that's what went wrong. Or if it feels like you're needing a hatchet to get through it, then you know that you undercooked it. So keep that in mind. The third tip, if you know you need to have so many cups of cubed chicken, remember this rule of thumb. 1 pound of chicken breasts equals 3 cups of cubed chicken. And lastly, if you're in a hurry to cook your dinner, then know that when you cook your chicken in the oven covered, it's going to take a lot longer than if you cook it uncovered. There's several more tips that I have for you. They can be found in the PDF. So the first recipe that we are going to be using is actually my own recipe, and it is so yummy. So we have, of course, our crockpot liner. You can't live without those. And we're going to put in a cup of chopped onions. Now, hopefully you're all using these onions. Once I started buying the chopped onions from Allison's Pantry, I never chopped an onion again. Because why would I get smelly hands and cry when I don't have to? So we put the onion in, and then we're going to dump our chicken breasts in right on top of that. We have the onion spread across the bottom. Then we're going to put our chicken breasts in on top of that. And then we're going to pop in, this is ground ginger and soy sauce. You guys, this is going to be so good. So we drop that in there next. And then we're going to put in pineapple. It's just a can of pineapple. You can use our frozen pineapple, but the good thing about the canned pineapple is it has the juice. So we throw in the juice and the pineapple. It can be any kind of pineapple, tidbits, chopped, crushed, rings, whatever. And then we're going to add some chicken broth. And then we are going to put this in the crock pot. It's 6 to 8 hours on low or 4 to 5 hours on high, and then we're going to serve it with rice. This is a great recipe from Teresa Berg, and it's called Good Chicken. So what we're going to do is take our chicken breast, and we are going to dip it in butter. Everything's better with butter. And then we're going to dip it into our crushed corn flakes, like this. And then I have a greased pan. I use my Vegeline. We need Vegeline for everything. And I'm just going to drop it in here. And then we're going to take a little bit of our seasoning salt and sprinkle over the top of it. And we're going to do that for all of them. Okay, our good chicken is ready to go in the oven. Now this is cooked without covering it up. So uncovered in the oven, 350 degrees for about an hour. This is a super fun recipe. It is called Chicken Nancy, and it's from Gina Bridgewater, who lives in Montana. So I've got my beautiful chicken breasts. You know, Allison's Pantry chicken breasts, number 6519, really are nice. See how even sized they are and how nice they look. So we got the chicken breasts in there. We are going to cover that with Swiss cheese. Then I have a mixture of a cream of chicken soup and some chicken broth. We're gonna pour that over the top. I think one of the things I like about this recipe is it's really easy, and I bet you could probably get away with throwing this in your crock pot too. Okay, next goes 2 cups of our chicken stuffing mix. I'm just gonna spread that all over. Okay, and then I have a cube of melted butter, and we're gonna pour that over the top. Just drizzle that over the top of this. And then we're gonna bake it in the oven for 350 degrees for about an hour to an hour and a half. That's it. You guys, this was really fun to do. We have our 3 recipes. This is the pineapple chicken. This was my recipe, and it was good. And next we have the good chicken. This is from Teresa Berg, and this was really good. This had a really crunchy, crispy topping, and it had the buttery goodness melted at the bottom of the pan, so it was good. It was really good. And then last, we have our chicken Nancy, and this is from Gina Bridgewater. And this was really good too. It had that Swiss cheese in it, and it was just really moist and delicious with the stuffing. So I had my kids score it, my family score it, and the winner actually won by 1 point. So drum roll please, our winner is the Chicken Nancy from Gina Bridgewater. The very close second was our good chicken from Teresa Berg, and everybody was kind of on the pineapple chicken. They didn't really love it. So lots of fun. I'm sure that you guys will like these recipes. They're fast, they're easy, and they're delicious, and you really can't go wrong with our chicken breast number 6519 from Allison's Pantry. Hey, thanks.